Garfield is a lazy, lasagna-loving, Monday-hating cat, living his best life with his human John and his trusted partner, Odie. But one night, Garfield and Odie are pet-napped, which leads Garfield to reunite with his estranged father, Vic. Garfield has nothing but resentment towards his father because he believes he abandoned him. Now, however, Garfield and Vic must put their differences aside to save their own tails from an insane feline from Vic's past. This is the Garfield movie. The Garfield movie is the latest adaptation of one of the most famous felines in cartoon history, Garfield. And it's also the first completely animated film for the character to see a theatrical release. And it also stars Chris Pratt. Normally I'm supportive of his involvement in movies, mainly because it goes against the grain of Twitter, but I really wasn't sure about this one. But the Garfield movie is a pretty cute and entertaining film for the whole family. The animation is fun and vibrant, and the slapstick is well-paced and pretty funny. But what surprised me was the story, and it perhaps isn't anything too groundbreaking, but it works for Garfield. Now, as I mentioned, Chris Pratt as Garfield was something that I really wasn't seeing the vision on. His natural, upbeat, happy-go-lucky voice is perfect for characters like Emmett or even Mario. So I wasn't quite sure just how he would do as one of the most lazy characters in all of fiction. And he does alright. He does Garfield's dry humor extremely well as adding his expressive voice work to the film's more slapstick-heavy scenes. Overall, though, I do feel like this performance is more in line with what I expected a Mario performance from him to be. Although, for what it's worth, I still enjoy the character of Garfield in the film. And again, Chris Pratt does fine. It's without a doubt the second best performance any actor from Parks and Rec could give for Garfield. The first one being Nick Offerman, obviously. Personally, I think that's who they meant to get, but the producers just said, hey, get me the guy from Parks and Rec. And now we have Chris Pratt as Garfield. Now, when I heard Samuel L. Jackson was going to be in this film, I was really hoping he was going to play Nermal. I would have loved for him to play Nermal. That would have been great. Sadly, he doesn't. He instead plays Vic, Garfield's father. Hell yeah, new Garfield lore! And he's just playing Samuel L. Jackson as a big tough alley cat, which isn't inherently a bad thing. That's the character, and Samuel L. Jackson does a good job at it. It's one of those things where you look at it and go, they hired him to play this character, and he played the character like how I imagined he would. Stellar criticism right here. Although anytime Samuel L. Jackson is in a family movie, that just gets a chuckle out of me, because I would love to see what that recording booth was like. Because I don't think it's as clean as the performance he gives in the film. And even though he's not in the film a lot, Nicholas Holt still manages to have some of his chaotic nature in the character of John Arbuckle. He actually has a pretty funny B story throughout the film. The animation of the film is great, though. It's full of color and fast-paced slapstick comedy that actually works. Garfield's world and art style translates pretty well to a 3D environment. And I understand Garfield being 3D isn't a new thing, but I think it looks the best here. I haven't seen a predominantly 2D cartoon be translated to CGI animation this well since the Peanuts movie. By the way, if you've never seen the Peanuts movie, watch it, it's real good. But what surprised me the most with this film was the emotional side. Again, it's nothing that's going to reinvent cinema. It's a Garfield movie where Garfield's played by Chris Pratt. I don't think anyone expected that, but it is definitely an effective one. Garfield reuniting with his estranged father make for some actually great moments in the film. It makes for a really compelling story for Garfield to go on. And I really enjoyed their father and son connection in this film. I swear it blew my mind to find out Mark Dindal directed this film. Now that name may not sound familiar to you, but what if I told you he directed one of the worst films in Disney animation history, Chicken Little? A film with an infamously bad father-son dynamic. Buck Cluck is one of the worst fathers in animation history. Dead serious. Colonel Sanders, get your hands on this man. So I like to imagine Mark Dindal saw this as an opportunity to make good on the father-son concept. And I think that's exactly what he did here. He made a father and son story that's actually great. I'll be honest, I do feel like I am being a bit too hard on Mark Dindal. He did also direct The Emperor's New Groove, and that film is iconic. One bad movie does not make a bad director. Bad circumstances do, and that's really what Chicken Little was facing. Coming out at the height of Shrek's popularity definitely had a hand in why Chicken Little turned out the way it did. I'm not blaming him. But I was pleasantly entertained with the Garfield movie. Garfield is one of those immortal characters that's going to outlive all of us, and this is just another adaptation of him. It's clear that the people making this film not only love Garfield, but love their pets too. This is a film made for people who love cats and dogs alike. But not Cats and Dogs, though. That's a different movie. It's really just a fun little family film, and sometimes it's all you need. I may not like lasagna, or any other form of pasta, but I like this, and I highly recommend it. You heard that right. I don't like lasagna or any form of pasta. Then what's that, you may be asking? I just thought it would be fun to give lasagna a good old college try, for real this time, on camera, in honor of Garfield. Because I know it's what he would want. Actually, no, what he wants is for me to not like it so he can eat it. Well, now I'm conflicted. I don't know a good way to go about eating this. This looks alien. For Garfield. That was okay. The cheese and the meat and the sauce is good. I'll try a piece of the pasta again. Yeah, it's slimy and just so... The cheese and the sauce and the meat here, I'm into it. I like pizza, so that's kind of already a given for me, but for some reason, the noodles in this just aren't for me. Is there like a gluten-free version of this where I can eat the sauce and the meat and the cheese? Because I'm sure that would be good, but the noodles are just... No, I'm not feeling it. Well, I'm proud of myself. I tried lasagna. Either way, it's fine. It's just not for me. It really isn't. I'm gonna wash this out of my mouth with some Deadpool Coke. The only Coke for movie reviewers. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed this review, both of the movie and of the lasagna. And if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quint Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic. Here comes the airplane.